Hi, everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. If you're joining me today, it's a beautiful day in the city here in New York and not too hot, just right temperature. I'm going to go see a show tonight, which will be fun. Going to go to a cabaret show in Midtown. I never leave my neighborhood and go to Midtown. But yeah, my favorite waiter from my old favorite Cafe Reggio, is also in show business, and he's a singer-songwriter, but he also does plays piano and sings like jazz standards. And I've always wanted to see him perform, but most of the places in New York to perform, unless you're a big star, are out in Brooklyn. And I don't do the subways anymore. So, yeah, this is in Midtown. I can take a bus and get there. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm meeting my partner in Bryant Park about 8 o'clock, and we're just going to enjoy the nice weather in the evening and, hang out for about an hour and then head over to the club. I think it's called Madame George, which my partner tells me is named after a song by Van Morrison, which I didn't know anything about. And he played it for me. So anyway, it looks like a really fancy little place. Oh, and I got a new T-shirt that I'm going to wear tonight to the club. I've been buying a lot of these T-shirts lately that have like album cover images on it. And any of you that are familiar with Julie London, who was sort of like a whispery sex pot from the 50s and cranked out a bunch of albums, her biggest hit was Cry Me a River. She put out a lot of albums, and I've been, getting a lot of these T-shirts with album covers. It was hard to pick one of hers. But I thought, perfect for a nightclub or a future visit to Club Cumming, my new favorite place in East Village. I got this one. This is Round Midnight. I don't know if you can see or not. She's like laid out there like a clock, sort of like sultrily reclining in front of the hours for the clock, round midnight. I have to double check. I think Around Midnight is one of the standards that this guy that I'm going to see performs. So I hope he'll sing it and play it. Let's see who's here. Simon is here and Saskia are here. I'm hoping that Brienne shows up because she said that she went and bought this deck we're going to look at today. And I really would like to exchange or share thoughts with other people that have it. And I wasn't pushing people to buy it without first looking at other walkthroughs. But I did say last week, this is sort of your homework if you want to like participate in the share other than seeing it for the first time, that you might want to get a hold of it. It's called the Wonderland Tarot. It's got a funky image on the cover. And oddly, there's a lot of odd things about this. First of all, this has nothing to do with Alice's Wonderland. And I believe there is another Wonderland Tarot that focuses on Alice in Wonderland. Secondly, this image that's kind of looks very almost like voodoo or tribal or whatever on the cover of the box is not in the deck. It's not one. A lot of times they'll pick one card and they'll take that image and use it on the box. This one is not in there. I mean, it's a little bit similar to some of the kinds of images later in the deck, but not really. So, I mean, that's the first two odd things. It's not Alice in Wonderland. Secondly, it's not a tribal art deck. Let's see what people are saying. Excited to see this deck and see why you're puzzled, of course. I miss New York. Could sit with a latte now in Cafe Reggio. Hi, Saskia. Cool T-shirt. Brienne Love. Yes. Haven't seen Brienne in years. Yeah, she was here last week, and she I don't know if she was in the room or she commented on the video last week. But anyway, I mentioned that I had recently kind of like, I never buy tarot, but I recently saw 2 decks that graphically appealed to me online. And one of them was the Wonderland Tarot. And the other one, just for your homework for next week, is the Starlight Tarot deck, Blue Edition. Now, there is a blue edition and a gold edition, but the gold edition is a little more monochromatic, whereas this one, it's got gold foiling and everything, is really gorgeous. Now, this is not new. I think this might be 9 months old or something. But anyway, it's a beautiful deck, and we'll talk about that next time. However, I am going to tell you that both of these, one of the impetuses from me to buy them was the price, because currently prices of decks are going up and up and up, and it's hard to find a deck for under $29. This one was $14, and the one for today was $16.99, $17. And so I don't know what that's all about, but that was really tempting, so I bought it. Now, the Wonderland Tarot has no identification other than the title. There's nothing on the box indicating the creators, the publishing company, or anything. It is a nice, dirty box, but it doesn't have any little thumb inserts, so it's just you have to rely on the weight to get the box open. So I'd probably advise against putting the top on when the cards aren't in there, because you kind of need that weight to slip the box out. It is a really kind of sturdy box, just plain and simple, with cards in it, and no ribbon, no fuss, no guidebook. Oh, there is a little written thing on the back. Let me read it. You can take a screenshot if you want. I don't know if that focuses, but a perfect deck for a Rider-Waite-Smith lover who is not afraid of color and humor in their readings. Dive into the vivid world of Wonderland, each card a piece of art, and choose the design that resonates with your inner vision. It's not only treasure for the eye, it's a treasure for the soul. Well, that seems like a pretty inflated statement there. Anyway, I like the box. I love 2-part boxes. Brienne, you're here. Hey, waiting for you, or hoping you'd be here. So I think Brienne got the deck, or she told me she did. Now, the card stock, the card size is same, what do you call it? Traditional, the regular tarot card size. And the card stock is stiff and sturdy. It's the kind of stuff most people really like these days. I wouldn't say there's anything special about it. I mean, it's not glossy, it's not matte, it's kind of somewhere in between. You can see there's a little bit of a sheen on it. And I actually, when I first saw it online, they had the cards like fanned out, and I thought, oh, I don't like that. There's something about it. I can't even do it, but the way they had it fanned out, and I'm not doing a proper fan, it's like it was so op art, and I thought, ugh, I don't know if I like that. But then I looked at just one back still, and it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it's okay. The color palette in this deck I really like, and I want to ask you guys, you give me some feedback as we go through. When I looked at this, it's kind of a joyous, colorful deck. And at first I thought, oh, this is a real summer deck. But now the more I'm looking at it, the more it feels like maybe an autumn deck. So maybe it's that summer-autumn transition, but the coloring in it really kind of excites me. Now, I know Simon is kind of anxious to see this. I don't think this is going to be a deck for you, Simon, because I know that you are not fond of vector art. And it looks to me like this is mostly vector art. The other thing is, I don't know if this is AI or not. I didn't think it was, but it's so hard to tell these days, and there's no information. The fact that the price is really cheap, there's no credit to the creator, no publishing information, you don't get a guidebook or anything, makes me kind of wonder. Also, the imagery, as much as I love it and as beautiful as it is, mostly doesn't seem to kind of hook up with Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. So as we go along, we'll see what you think. But there are some cards that I think, oh yeah, that makes sense. I connect that. And then others is like, wait a minute, they didn't think enough about this. So they should have added in an extra wand or whatever to make it work. Possibly with no credits on the box. There's the challenge then. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. In case you are looking for it, because I got a tab here. I won't show you, but I'll tell you. Amazon.com. Wait. In the U.S., so it's a different price elsewhere. Currently in the U.S., as of today, when I'm filming this, so August 9th, 2025, it's going for $16.99. And the brand name, I can't even pronounce it. Texam says TZXAMSEZ. I think the best way to find it if you're looking for it is just to do a search on Amazon and look for that image. Wonderland Tarot, but look for this image. If you find another Wonderland Tarot with Alice on it, you've got the wrong deck. All right, so let's dive in. So these cards are kind of busy, but busy in a like party-like way, like confetti or something. So here is the Fool. Now, oddly, the majors are using Arabic numerals and the minors are using Roman numerals. But you have the number at the top, 0, and then you have the label at the bottom. And the font's kind of nice, but the font's a little bit challenging. You see where some of parts of the letters are kind of pinched or thin. That makes it a little difficult sometimes to read. And I would say this is a deck not for beginners, and that where you need to rely a lot on the labels in order to read the cards. Hey, nothing so strange. So here we have the Fool. Lots of flowers. There are a lot of nighttime settings for these images. Beautifully ornate, joyful, happy, colorful kind of imagery. I mean, this isn't a fool like stepping off a ledge or anything, but, they're experiencing new things, maybe at night, maybe in the clouds or fog of night, but all these flowers are brightly lit along with the stars. Hello, Tarot Ignited. Second one we have, actually the first, that was 0, is the Magician. This is a little bit more blocky. This is almost like a Lego man or something. But I do kind of like this odd palette of sort of autumn colors, like oranges and gray greens and stuff like that. The High Priestess, very pretty. Of course, these are just sort of like simple portraits in a way so far. The Empress is beautiful. Not your typical Empress. This looks like a princess out of Disney. I mean, this is like Cinderella coming home after the ball or something. Look at all that razzle dazzle with all the flowers and sort of jewel adorned sky. I just think the images are really, really pretty. But again, if you don't like vector art, this might be kind of challenging for you. Or might not be your cup of tea. Now, this is a kind of a switch. The Emperor is a little more blocky, but that kind of goes with the Emperor. He is kind of more sort of solid, sturdy, dependable, powerful, imposing, I think. Can you see the number at the top? See, this one's tricky because it's number 4, but it's hard to read there because the font is, the angles on the font are not, but at least it says Emperor at the bottom, so you know. I've never seen this deck before. Looking forward to the walkthrough. The Hierophant. This one without the label doesn't help me. So yeah, I mean, it's another sort of like leading male figure, beautiful colors, very ornate, but I don't know that I get Hierophant necessarily from it. I'm missing things like the keys, the supplicants. There is a headdress, but I don't know if I'd necessarily read that headdress as a Hierophant, but maybe. The Lovers is cute. The Lovers is a little bit less fantasy land and more contemporary fashion, and very, very autumn leaves looking to me. It's like, it's funny. She's kind of looks like she's fondling his necktie, but it also looks like she's holding up a cocktail. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I love it. I love it as a Lovers, and I also like that I don't usually like when they break to different styles of wardrobe and stuff, but I like that it's sort of a modern, very symmetrical. Yeah. Especially the Emperor and Hierophant. Hi, Will. There's also a modernist Wonderland Tarot, same deck, darker tone by brand. Oh, that's the same brand. They have several decks. Okay. I like how the Empress seemed almost as if emerging from the surroundings, in tune with nature, contrast to Emperor being rigid and structured, almost artificial. Yep. Oh, here's another one, though. This is interesting, the Chariot. Now, I mean, it's so festive. It's almost like, the 4th of July. Look at all the stuff going on in the sky. The odd thing for me about this is the Chariot. They're riding a horse, but there's no chariot. There is the wheel under the horse that sort of like hints at an abstract connection that maybe hints at a chariot. I mean, the foot is almost resting on the wheel, and the wheel is under the horse. Also, I'm not sure, I can't quite tell from the graphic whether this is a horse in motion or a horse with 5 legs, in which case that would make me wonder about AI, because they often get that wrong. But this almost looks like motion of the one advancing leg being risen, as opposed to the other one sort of standing in place. And I kind of like that wheel there. We don't get like a full chariot, but that kind of hints at a chariot rather than, say, a knight per se riding a horse. Chariot, very different vibe, party vibe. I wonder if they'll make more decks like greeting card companies. We usually don't know the artist. I would say this is AI for sure. Hello, Alder Moon. A little late and missed the beginning. Okay. This is the Strength card, and it's a little hard to see, but it's not your typical lion. It looks to be a wolf or a wild dog. But and also she's got a very interesting kind of attitude or pose for a Strength card. She's more like it feels more like an empress to me, or something with power and authority that's doesn't ordinarily feel like Strength to me, but she's walking along with this wolf as her companion. So I guess, that works as Strength, I suppose. The Hermit is beautiful, I think. Now we switch to blues here. This is the Hermit. And isn't that Look at that candle in the woods. Just, oh, I love this card. This could go in a collection of my 10 favorite hermit cards. I don't know if I had one. I don't think I have one. I might have 3 favorite hermit cards. Wheel of Fortune. This goes kind of, well, this is what's on the end of the box here, this Wheel of Fortune. But what I like about this is it's like all these little figures in boxes or windows around the wheel, kind of like segments of action in life, different characters, different actions being taken as we move around the wheel, which is a kind of an interesting idea for a Wheel of Fortune. Like spin the wheel and, you know, what is your job, your occupation? Where is your passion? What are you doing? I kind of like that. The only card I like so far, the Hermit. Justice. I heard somebody else in a walkthrough says it looks like Wonder Woman, and I kind of get that Wonder Woman vibe from this. And they said they didn't understand this card or didn't like it because of the way you've got multiple scales at different levels. Like they didn't seem it. The scales weren't at an equal place. They weren't balanced. They were unbalanced. But I don't think scales have to be balanced for a justice card. I think the concept there is in trying to keep them balanced or make them balanced or trying to be fair, as opposed to they are always fair regardless. I think that's sort of the struggle with justice. This one I'm not keen on because it's the Hangman, but they're not hung upside down. They're just kind of like sitting on a swing. But again, I really like the kind of festive, playful, storybook-like quality of some of these images. This one's fun. Death. This death card kind of reminds me of the Winona Ryder character from Beetlejuice. Can't think of the name of her. Or maybe even Christina Ricci from Wednesday. Sort of like fiery ghosties in the background. Not your typical death card, but interesting. Temperance. Temperance. There's, I don't know about temperance. Like, what is she balancing, blending, or mixing? What is she tempering? It's a beautiful image, but does it work with the title? I don't know. The Devil. Okay, there's. I guess this is the closest to the image on the box. Devil. There's very stark. Hey, Marilyn. The Tower. Oh, I do love this Tower card. That is stunning, I think. I love the coloring in that. And the atmosphere and all the energy around it is so vibrant. There's so much stuff going on. You know, it's not, I don't see people falling, but there is definitely an imposing quality about the tower. And I love the combination of colors. The Star. You know, what can you do with the star? A star is a star is a star, you know. Easy to read. There's the star, if you know what the star means. Moon. Typical moon, in a way. I love it. I do. One thing I love about this card, and what we don't see in tarot often, is people going up or downhill. Look at this beautiful figure dragging her train of her dress train behind her, slowly descending the hill under a full moon, with stars behind her and all these blossoms in front of her. I don't know. This deck, it puzzles me to read it, but I really enjoy just kind of sitting and daydreaming in the images. It's kind of like turning a picture book of art images for a children's fairy tale or something. Hello, Tarot Ignited. I always like it when the hermit's in the woods. There's something cozy about the safety and wisdom of trees. I'd personally go hermit in the woods rather than up the mountains. Here we have the sun. Not keen on the sun card. The face is like, you know, a sun, a sunflower. It's a little too abstract. I would prefer to be a little more human, but I mean, it's okay. It's playful. Judgment. Graphically, I think this is a really strong deck. It's just that graphically, I don't know that it says tarot to me. It's just beautiful, colorful vector images. You know, it's like, oh, do you see anything judgment? Like, well, maybe the two hands balanced to either side is sort of like a this or that, or, you know, and the figure above trees and stuff is like a judging angel or something, maybe. But again, like I said, I think you're going to have to depend, if you have this deck for readings, depend on the labeling and not read as much intuitively from the imagery. And that's unfortunate, I think, because if they're trying to go the RWS route, they really should make, and they don't give you a guidebook, they really need to make it work very well, obviously, with the Rider-Waite-Smith. Now, the deck we're going to do next week, the Starlight, is RWS to a T. So watch for that. Here's the World. And again, this is like, what, Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella or something. It's so fairy tale-like. And the other thing is, there's nothing really boring about this deck. Like, every image is just filled with like whimsy and design that's so playful. Okay, now we're into the minors. We have the wands, and this wand is like a large blooming flower, growing flower. Now we're going to get tricky when it gets into numbers and things. Here we've got the Two of Wands. It's clearly labeled 2. We've got 2 figures, and we've got, well, how many? 5 wands. So is that confusing? It would be confusing to a new reader without a guidebook, I think. So I don't know, when you look at these, and you can, when you look back, if you look back at these and pause the screen and linger over the images, you can decide whether there's enough in there to make it readable for you. I think it's going to be, I can do it, but I think it would be challenged for a lot of people. 3 of Wands, this is my significator card, but it's kind of pippish. I kind of want to see more than 3 tulips or lilies or whatever they are, 3 flowers. This one's confusing too. 4 of Wands, we've got 3 figures in the 4 of Wands, and one is leaning on a staff, and then we've got 3 other wands that are like lit torches. But I don't know how to read this as the 4 of Wands. According to the way I usually read RWS, this doesn't really say 4 of Wands to me. I mean, yeah, it could be people kind of gathering to celebrate for a party, but why are there 3 of them? And why are there 3 lit wands and one is just kind of maybe not even a wand, just sort of used as a staff to lean on? I don't know. 5 of Wands, again, a beautiful kind of autumn image, but it doesn't say to me conflict, other than the fact that some of these tree branches are at odd angles. There's no real conflict here that I can see. Brianne, I haven't heard you chime in. I know I'm going really fast, but so Simon says, I can see why you're puzzled. If anybody else has any explanations or more clarity than me on reading these images, I'd love to get their share. I get angry at that 5 wands and 2 of wands pretty quickly. Oh, so yes, very pretty, but a challenge. The deck I saw an easy was wands with spades. I'm not sure what you mean, but when we get to the spades compared to the wands, we'll see. Okay, we've got the 6 of wands again. Does this speak of like celebrating a victory or anything? There's nobody riding through. I mean, maybe these little figures that look almost like, yay, upstretched praising arms. That's the closest I can get to the 6 of wands with this image. I mean, it's festive, and just in the fact that they're kind of plants aligned, the way the RWS has figures kind of following across the card, vertical figures. But a new reader wouldn't know what to make of this 6 of wands. So guys, I have very mixed feelings about this deck, and I have a feeling a lot of people aren't going to like it for a number of reasons. And it's a shame because it looks like a lot of work did go into the deck in terms of color work and patterning and designs. Here we've got the 7 of wands. This doesn't speak to me of defending oneself against, oncomers, or maybe she's defending her territory of a blossoming garden against intruders. We've got wands here that are on fire, or torches, maybe keeping newcomers out of the garden. I don't know. I mean, I'm reading a lot into these images. The 8 of wands, this is different. You don't get the movement of an 8 of wands unless these are like skyward rockets. It does look to me almost though like a soldier there commanding troops. So maybe that has something to do with the idea of like troops marching forward as an 8 of wands. 9 of wands, again, is sort of like, for me, 9 of wands is boundaries or boundary setting. And here we have somebody kind of in a forest, but I don't know that they're welcoming people in or keeping them out. I'm not really sure if I'm getting a strong enough vision of what the 9 of wands is here. So even if I use this, and I can use it for myself, if I do readings for others, I don't think they're going to look at the card and understand how I'm connecting what I'm saying with the card image that they're seeing. But maybe that happens anyway if you read for people that don't know tarot. Maybe that's all Greek to them too. Clubs are wands. Oh, spades with swords. There's some confusion. What do we got here? 10 of wands. 10 of wands. What's the heavy burden here? There's some people meeting in the woods. There's some torches. What's the heavy burden? What is going on? What's the story here? I think all these cards have stories. I'm just not sure that the stories align with tarot. This is beautiful. Sort of a rainbow skirt, the Page of Wands. I love the glide and downward motion on this. It's sort of like a scoop off the side of the card, like a dance, like she's sort of dancing under fireworks or a starlit sky. Don't know if I would read that as Page of Wands, but it's a pretty card. Maybe that 8 of Wands character is commanding a firework launch. There was a firework party already in Chariot. Knight of Wands. And here we have we do have a knight. We do have a wand. Okay, we've got a Knight of Wands. No horse, but he's marching. He's in armor. That might work. Queen of Wands. Very lovely queen. This might be okay. She's thoughtful. She's in woods or garden. She's sort of like acknowledging or encouraging this blossoming of flowers. That's kind of wand energy for me, Queen of Wands. King of Wands, his crown is on fire. I love that, in a wand suit, we've got all this fiery orange, and, that his crown is on fire. What goes on in the fiery mind of the King of Wands? Oh my God, I got to get moving here. It's 1:36. Time flies when I'm having fun with you guys. Here we are, Ace of Cups. Very simple, but, that could be an Ace of Cups. I mean, it is a cup. Might be confusing because there's plants in it. People might think that's Ace of Wands, but clearly does say cups. Again, my critique over the font. See, I mean, you have to be up pretty close to see the slender lines in the font to read it properly. So I think that might be a design flaw. Two of Cups, this works. Two people meeting over a drink. Although it looks like there's sort of like, I don't know, are there two cups there, or are they arguing over who gets the drink? One offering the drink and the other receiving the drink? I don't know. Three of Cups, this is a little more challenging. We usually have three figures. We only have two again here. So you can see, if you are really familiar with Rider-Waite-Smith, these don't quite match up with the right. This is more of a Two of Cups than a Three of Cups to me. Four of Cups, again, this is just like four people having a dinner party together. It's not like a fourth cup is being offered and somebody is overlooking it or ignoring it. Or maybe that's what that fourth cup is. It looks like they're not quite holding it. It's just kind of like floating in the air and they're reaching in that direction. There's a cup down here. It looks like it's floating. It hasn't landed yet. So maybe this is okay. Maybe that fourth cup, maybe as we investigate each cup, they sort of glide into view from somewhere else. Now, this is a couple of cards here are kind of minimalized, which I don't like. One cup for two, that's not harmonious. Maybe that Eight of Wands characters. Oh, read that. This is the Five of Cups. And for Five of Cups, I'm trying to remember in my head. Oh, Five of Cups is three knocked over, two remaining up. And I don't see that here. I mean, it's a sadness card. This does look to me a little bit like one of those candlelight processions honoring someone who has passed. We have protest marches by night when someone is killed that's a popular figure, and people walk together and they hold up their candles, So, I mean, in that could be a connection with that image, maybe. Again, another minimal version, the Six of Cups. This one, we've got five people around a table, and it looks like four of them are smaller figures, like children. This doesn't speak to me of nostalgia or the past or childlike behavior or play or anything like that. So it's more like the family, like how children are under the guidance of their father, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, you guys can see my challenge with these images. Seven of Cups. 7 choices. I don't know if I see the choices. Some of the faces look almost like balloons. What do we got? 3, 6. We've got 8 figures. There's 3 figures around a maiden cup, and then sort of like 5 others floating. Yeah, I don't know how to read that. 8 of cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 6. Oh, no, it's 8. 8 figures. Another minimal one. The last of the minimal for now is the 9 of cups. And it's just a lot of cups. It's funny how these couple of these cup figures look like devils or demons or moon figures. And now we're back to something a little more stylish. The 9 of, oh, that was the 8 of cups. Sorry. Yeah. I don't get that feel of like walking away from a situation. Maybe being overwhelmed by the number of cups. That kind of works. Number 9. 9 of cups. She seems proud, prideful, happy to be at the party, surrounded by all these cocktails. Pretty, stylish cocktail party. They're beautiful cards, but don't make any sense. Exactly. That kind of sums up the review for me. Pretty cards that it's like, is it a tarot deck if you can't read it? So then we have 10 of cups. Now, don't be put off by this in terms of coming back next week. Next week is a very readable deck. This one is quite the challenge. I don't know even whether to say more about it because I feel almost like I'm repeating myself too much. Here's the Page of Cups. I love the way it's illustrated. I love a lot of the characters. I love the detailing in the color disbursement, the patterning, the design is beautiful, but it's kind of like whoever created it didn't really think that much about tarot, or not enough. Tarot Ignited. Did I say hello earlier? Hello. And here's the Knight of Cups. We finally do have a horse. This figure seems to have a halo or a bubble. It's a nice Knight of Cups. That one works. I like the Queen of Cups. Here it almost looks like she's got a crown of fire. I like this Queen of Cups. Oh, what's next week, Simon? It's the Starlight Tarot deck, the blue edition. And I don't know about in the UK or whether you go to Amazon, but this one is $14 in a sturdy box and quality. It's got gold foiling. I mean, this is kind of amazing. This one is by Wyspell. Have you ever heard of that? Wyspell. Wyspell is the publisher. So that's next week. I know Simon has to duck out of here quickly for his show. Be sure to tune in over there in a few minutes. King of Cups. I like that this one's kind of in blues and blue-gray palette. And I think these will actually be, despite being hard to read, I think laid out in a spread, which I haven't tried yet, will be pretty on a table to just kind of like mull over and daydream over and like fuzz out or tune out a little bit in terms of your readings. Maybe there is intuitive stuff here that's less obvious that will come forth. Hey, AI, create a tarot deck using vector art Nice colors and a black background, job done. You know, the deck definitely differs from RWS, but it could be a nice deck to broaden one's perspective and kind of push the interpretations one is used to with RWS. And that's a valid criticism. I think when we get too used to RWS cookie cutters, then we feel like we don't even have to look at the cards anymore. We know what it is. But when the images are very different or veer off, they kind of have you re-examine your approach to that card. Now we're into the swords. Here's the Ace of Swords. I don't know if I like that. I guess it could be starry, but it looks very flowery to me, the head of that sword. Not sure about that. Here's a Two of Swords, which is not really a balance of decision of one person with two decisions. This is like two people each offering a different option, perhaps. Is that a Two of Swords? Here's the Three of Swords. We don't have a pierced heart, and this is almost like a scissor cut Valentine card or something. This looks almost like three nuns singing, you know. Four of Swords. Let's see. What is a Four of Swords? Is usually a rest card, and I don't know how restful this is. It looks like there's sort of a spark of something in the forest. Like maybe as you're resting, taking your sleep in the woods at night, a light comes, a light of inspiration to wake you from your sleep. That's what I should be doing. I should be trying to read with these as I'm describing them to you. Five of Swords. Let me remember what Five of Swords is kind of an unfair sword fight, you know. And here it feels like somebody is behind the eight ball, so to speak, in terms of the battle against these swords. Maybe a way to read Five of Swords. Six of Swords, this is pretty, but it looks very much like a tower card to me. I was going to say these also look like Russian or Ukrainian art, folk art. You might get a little bit of that vibe in terms of the color and the decoration. There's a lot of Ukrainian folk art where they decorate eggs and things, enamel boxes and whatnot. Seven of Swords. Do I see somebody sneaking off in the night with swords? Is that a second figure or what's on that tree? Sorry, I'm so shaky, but kind of looks like somebody met someone in the forest and made a shady deal. Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords. That one works. I mean, we kind of don't see the head of the character. I mean, a little bit, but it's almost like don't lose your head when you feel overwhelmed and surrounded. You know, there's a way out. Figure your way out. That's Eight of Swords to me. Nine of Swords is a nightmare card. I guess being surrounded by swords or overwhelmed by swords could feel like a nightmare. I was noticing in this one that the face has shading to it that feels a little different than the usual kind of hard edge vector art that I was talking about before. 10 of Swords. That's, wow, kind of an explosion of overwhelming anxiety. Page of Swords, beautifully decorated sword blade. I don't think you can say, you can't accuse this deck of being boring. I mean, every card changes from one to the next to the next, and I don't see much repetition in here. It's like there's a lot of variety. Knight of Swords. And now that we're most of the way through it, do you guys think this is more of a summer or an autumn deck? It definitely feels to me like a nighttime deck. So maybe it's more like fall because the days are getting shorter. Here we've got the Queen of Swords. Again, this feels like a Russian or Ukrainian, like almost like a nesting doll or something. The King of Swords, I like his attitude and his pose. Now we're finally down to the Pentacles with 9 minutes to go till Simon's show. I'm surprised you're still here. Ace of Pentacles. Try to hurry up a little bit. Two of Pentacles. I don't get that balance here. We've got a boy and this is almost like Hansel and Gretel in the woods or something, but I don't get the traditional Two of Pentacles feel from it. Three of Pentacles. Again, we've got two figures. It could be some sort of a collaboration, but all they're doing is kind of holding hands. I don't really see any collaborative work going on there. Moomin Tarot, hello. I missed the start. Is there no guidebook? No guidebook. Just wondering if that might explain things. Yeah, they should publish one, even if it's just a PDF. There's nothing in the notes indicating anything you can do. They're pretty, but I feel like none of the cards have real meaning. Like the AI or person who made it only has the vaguest idea what symbols a tarot deck is supposed to contain. Right. The court. And you know what else? If this is AI, this makes me wonder about the board at the publishing house. How do they decide? They don't know either, apparently. They don't care, apparently. You know, it's like, oh, those look pretty. That art looks colorful and pretty. Let's publish it as a tarot deck. It's like, guys, you've got a business here. You need to know what a tarot deck is and what it isn't, what makes it work and what doesn't make it work. The court cards in this deck definitely don't help if one already struggles with their court card interpretations. More questions than answers. King of Swords looks like the Lord Farquaad from Shrek. Here we've got Four of Pentacles. Cute. Five of Pentacles. This looks like somebody praying on the outside a little bit. This looks like the most religious card in the deck to me. Almost looks like a nun praying by the moonlight. Six of Pentacles. Seven. There we've got a garden, a gardener. That works. Some of them work, but mostly they don't work. Eight of Pentacles. That doesn't look so much like work to me, unless she's using a magic wand to create stars, but not the first place I'd go with an Eight of Pentacles. Nine, again, kind of looks like folk art to me. Nine of Pentacles. See, I have to rack my brain to call into it the imagery from the Rider-Waite-Smith. Nine of Pentacles, that is that the woman with bird and pride in all the pentacles she's gathered? If it is, there's no bird here. This is a little bit showy. I don't know. Oh, I guess those are her hands in blue down there on the bottom of her skirt. It's almost like she doesn't even have a bottom there. It's just like pinwheels and exploding fireworks. This is a pretty 10. 10 of Pentacles. Another autumn scene. Page. This actually kind of reminds me too, if you know the Zodiac Tarot, because it's colorful, pretty patterned images set against a dark background. Now, it's highly glossy, but it is easier to read as an RWS than this. This one just gives me a very like Eastern European folk art feel. Knight of Pentacles. Just 2 more cards. The Queen. It's kind of like a Disney queen from back in the day. And the King. Okay, guys. Thank you all for joining me. We are a couple minutes shy of Simon presenting what he has today to share. Any closing thoughts? Yep, no, bye. See, I did warn you, Brienne, but I don't know whether this is something you're going to find to work with or not. I can work with it. I know I can work with I can work with a blank white deck of cards if it has labels on it. But that's because I've studied RWS long enough that I have those images committed to memory. So I'm not really looking at blank cards. I'm looking at Pixie's art in my head. But one shouldn't have to do that with a deck. The imagery should speak for itself. So not good at shuffling, but I'm going to see. Let's do a reading. Let's do a. How might one read with you? How might you work with us? I got a message on my screen there. 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords. Yeah, it feels like this deck is playing unfairly with us. It's like we don't have all the tools at our command to be able to read with this deck. I think it's very tricky. Another card. Oh, 4 of Swords. Well, I didn't shuffle well enough. So you might have to take a break from this deck, then come back to it time and again to figure things out. 3 of Swords. Yeah, obviously I didn't shuffle. So this, 3 of Swords, the deck may cause heartbreak in struggling with it. So I have 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords. Coming out of rest to struggle, failingly to read, and end up sort of heartbroken. It's like, oh, it's a challenge. There's the word for you, challenge. This deck is a challenge. Oh, you got a different deck with the same name. It wasn't this deck. Yeah. Well, I did point out checking the image when you look, but well, I'm glad you didn't get it then. Yeah, I'm going to let everybody go. Next week, the Starlight in Blue, and I'm excited for this. It will be a little less interesting, I think, because while it's more readable, and I think you'll like the images, it's very predictable as RWS. I mean, here on the cover, we've got the Magician. So, I mean, you can tell already just by this card of the Magician, that's a very readable image for RWS. All right, I'm going to let you go, and hightail it over to Simon's. See you later. Thanks. Bye.